100 Huntley Street is very trusting because they let me go to downtown Toronto to grab people off of the street and interview them to get a pulse of what people are saying about faith, about who's influenced them in their life, what they think of the church. Because at Huntley Street, we don't want to just be talking all the time. We want to listen. We want to have that conversation. So Cheryl, you're the person that gave me the assignment. And what's your heart behind doing something like this?
Yeah, I agree. I think sometimes as Christians we have a lot to say, but we also need to be good listeners.
Yes.
And I think we know how to engage people in conversation when we know actually what their thoughts are.
Yeah.
So for me, it was really life-giving, and it was really fun to watch you on the street too. You're very good.
Oh, thank you. Well, they didn't show the amount of times people said no or just kept their eyes down.
I know, it's very hard on your ego, isn't it?
When you have a big microphone, you're like, ugh.
I know, exactly. Okay, well, let's go to the first one. So you were on the street, and I love this question. You asked people, do you have faith? Let's take a look at what they said.
Do you have a faith, and how does it play a role in your life?
With a faith. I'm not really religious person.
Yes, I do. I believe in God, but I don't have no religions.
Science proves that the world evolved from other things, so all of the stuff that they say is not true at all. The world wasn't created 6,000 years ago, so yeah, I just don't believe in any of it.
Yeah, I'm part Italian, so we're Roman Catholic. I like some of the beliefs and morals that it's taught me, so I think I practice when I can, but not too often.
Do you subscribe to any type of faith, and what is it and why?
I would have to say I'm spiritual, and I'm accepting of all beliefs, but to be defined, I don't think that's possible.
I am a Hindu, but I believe in the law of attraction. Have you heard of the law of attraction?
I've heard of it. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
It's just like attracts like, so whatever you think you attract. So if you think positive things will happen to you.
I'd say just be nice to people, and that's about it. That's all we've gone by in my family.
I just look at faith as we only have one God, and he's supposed to be, he is looking after all of us. So that's the way I look at it.
Oh, that last little man, he was so precious. I wanted to put him in my pocket.
He was really cute.
He was so cute. But yeah, none of the responses surprised me at all.
Yeah.
But that little boy who was talking about there's no way this is true, it was just so clear that he's just, you could tell he's like a voracious reader. He was cynical at age 12. Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah, so.
Well, I love it because, Toronto especially, in Canada, in all of Canada actually, we have such a diversity of cultures and backgrounds and ethnicities, and I think we need to be open as people of faith to have that conversation, not to be intimidated or scared because someone believes something different than us. But I think it's really life-giving when you can say, you know what, they say this is what I believe and this is why, and this is what I believe and this is why, and some of the faith that people have or their beliefs, some of it's taken from Christianity, a piece of it, right? Like do good to others, different things about being positive or optimistic for life. Some of that actually comes from Christianity. It's missing a few pieces from our perspective.
And the way to have conversations, back to my interview with Dr. Mintel, is like when you're having a conversation with someone, if you can stop and go, where are our common, threads? And then that's how things can move forward. And I feel like if I really do believe my faith, then I should be functioning out of freedom to have those conversations.
Yes.
It's when people are fearful, that they respond closed-mindedly.
Or we have to push it on people because we're all people are all on a journey.
Yeah.
And they're at different points in the journey, and we have to just be positive and encourage them to continue pursuing faith. And lots of people are curious and hungry.
Yeah.
That's what I really find.
Yeah.
Well, I love the next clip because for me it ties into the first clip in an interesting way. And if you're a parent, I think you're going to really want to watch this one. The question was, who is the biggest influence in your life? And you're going to be surprised at the answer.
Okay, so who's been the most influential person in your life, and why?
I don't know. My dad, probably.
Why?
Just a hard-working fella,
My mom, I believe that would be, and because she was always smart and giving me really right decisions and advice.
And who's the most influential person in your life, and why? Or one of them. Your mother.
Why?
Well, she's the one who made me do everything when I was younger, right? She makes you study, makes you take piano lessons, makes you do all of those things.
My mom.
Why?
She's so strong. She raised both of our children and very supportive, understanding.
I'd probably say my father because we're like-minded in business, and so he's kind of helped me through as I've grown up.
Well, my mom, it's awesome that it's Mother's Day, but she's just so self-sacrificing and just the most generous, humble person I've ever met. Wears our heart, so I would have to say those are qualities that I admire.
My mother. Why? Pretty self-explanatory. She's pretty much given me everything that I am who I am today.
Parents, you have a little bit of influence.
I love this because, you know, kids really specialize in making parents feel like they're not listened to, they're not respected, they're not heard, especially like, you know, those teenage years, like you're an idiot and I know everything, you know? And so I think sometimes as a parent, you think, what can I really do? What is my influence? And they may even be going away from their faith. But I think I wanted to tie those two together because when you think about people's faith and where it comes from, and you see the huge influence of parents on kids' lives, you realize that people's faith are the most impacted by their parents. So parents who are watching this, you need to know that you have an incredible role in your kid's life, an incredible influence. Were you surprised? Because I was expecting to hear, like, I don't know, like thinkers of history.
Yes, I thought there would be a little bit more of a mix, but it is true. I think it's encouraging for parents to hear that, especially because you hear through research your kids are influenced by music and their peers and all these different things, and they are. But the fact is when they get to a certain point and they're looking back, even that young kid who was very cynical, he said his father. So it's, I mean, they're around you the most.
Yeah, I love it. I think, you know, just if you can come away with anything from this segment as a parent, it's just that your kids are listening and they're watching, and it's not just what you do, it's not just what you say, but it's how you live.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Well, the last question I was really passionate about because a lot of times when you meet somebody who doesn't share your faith and they know that you're a Christian, the first thing they do with me is they say, well, I'm not a Christian because I had this pastor who did this, or I saw this person who was hypocritical, or, you know, they kind of like tell you what the hindrance is for them moving forward. And I always think, wow, God, you know, you're showing me that for something I could pray for. But, or you know, like, what is the thing that needs to be addressed? So we asked people, what could the church do better to make you interested in church? And listen to what they had to say.
Having spent some time in the church, if you had to give some advice to the church of how they could do a better job, what would that be?
Just teaching more tolerance about other religions. I think I learned a lot in high school when they had one course, but I think we need to do a little bit more.
I don't know, maybe I'm not really for the church yet, but I believe in God, I pray every day.
I think parents should make sure that their kids do what they want to do, because when I was growing up, my mom didn't take me to church or anything, but she said, hey, if you want to be religious, you can go to church, do whatever you want.
I think, yeah, if kids grow in it and, you know, they have friends that are surrounded in it too, it encourages them more to follow their truth and their faith, then yeah.
I don't think there's very much that I would say to make the churches improve any more than what they're doing. That's about it.
So basically, practice what's being talked about, you know, because I find that a lot of people are talking a lot and not really doing it. So that's the thing that I admire about the Christian religion, is just the compassion towards others, and acting upon that is very admirable.
I thought this was great, and I feel like it's a conversation that I want to have with my friends who don't go to church. You know, when people find out you're a Christian, I think if you start asking questions, that's such a better posture to take.
Absolutely.
I think a big thing that I hear from friends who have left the church or who are not believers is that there's not a tone of humility. And doesn't mean we have to change our stances, but just that posture of humility. And that's what that was the question that I was most excited to ask, because it was me saying, we're just receiving. What can we do to change? Most people have opinions.
Absolutely. You know, the thing is, a lot of people blame the church for what one Christian did, you know? And I think as Christians, if we were able to message, you know what, we're just broken people on a journey of healing who are loved by an amazing God, that would make people a little bit more willing to go, you know what, I know that you're not perfect and you're not great, but I know that that doesn't change who God is.
Yes.
You know, and then we can be better communicators of his love and his grace to the world. And so, yeah, I think I agree. I was so excited about that question. And I actually thought there'd be more criticism. People were a little bit nicer than I thought they would be.
Yeah, no, they were. You could tell that it took them back, actually. I think that sometimes maybe they needed more time to process, but I think they were so surprised that I was asking them that they became reflective. And I hope, my prayer is that they left and they started thinking about that. Is it the church? Is it the gospel? Or is it a person, that has bothered me? So,
yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm so glad I had the opportunity to do this, and this was a great conversation, and a conversation I hope you continue in your household.